Hi everyone and welcome to this XPath series for the testers. In this particular tutorial, we will learn to write the XPath with the multiple attributes. So let's begin. So far in this series, mainly we were using a single attribute to write the XPath. However, if the single attribute is not sufficient, we can go with the multiple attributes. So in this particular tutorial, we will learn how you can utilize the multiple attributes. Okay. So for example, if we want to locate this field and if I select this one, so basically you see that it has a multiple attributes available right now. We have a type, we have ID, name, placeholder. So what I'll do is that I need to identify this element uniquely. Okay. So I will be using multiple attributes and this is input field. So // input, and you see that as soon as I typed // input, so all the input fields are available over here and there are 34 right now you see here, but our goal is to make it unique. Okay, so for this particular field we have type is equals to text. Okay, so at the rate type is equals to text. Okay, and close this large bracket. Though for this particular field we have successfully identified this one, but still it says one of the 8 fields and it doesn't serve the purpose as automation tester. So we want to make it unique. So we can add more attributes. So we have here ID, we have a name, right? So let's go with the other attributes. So in order to use the multiple attributes, again start with the large bracket, then again attribute at the rate attribute, for example name is equals to, I'll say name is this one, the first name. So let's copy this one from here and paste it over here and close this one. Now in this particular XPath, we have successfully identified this element uniquely by using the two attributes, right? The first attribute was a text and the second attribute was name. And text is basically referring to a type attribute over here, right? We can go with as many attributes as we can. It's not limited to the two, right? So, for example, if you are unable to locate this field uniquely, even by using the two attribute, you can go with third. So, let's go with the ID. So, I'll say at the rate ID is equals to, and let's copy this ID from here and paste it over here and close the large bracket. Now you see that we have used 3 attributes. The first one is type, which has a value text. Then we used name attribute having the value first name, and then ID, and our ID is also having a first name value, right? Now let's see another example. For example, we need to identify this email address. This is like this one. Remove this one from here, and again this is input type. So I will say // input large bracket at the rate type is equals to, and the type is basically email. And if I close this one here, though we have uniquely identified this one, but again as automation tester, if one attribute is not sufficient, we can go with the other attribute. So this time we see that we have a placeholder as well, right? And we can go with the placeholder, we can go with the name, go with the ID, right? So I will say at the rate name is equals to, and name is basically email, and close this one. So you see that we have successfully located this element. We have written an XPath where we have used multiple attributes, and here if you observe that we haven't used any logical operator, we haven't used or and add. Okay, now let's go for any other one over here. So let's scroll down And here we have this submit button. So inspect this one, and this is button. So double forward slash button, then at the rate. So we have type equals to button. Type is equals to button, close large bracket. Here you see that it says one of the four. And again, an automation tester is not serving my purpose. I need to write a XPath which should uniquely identify the element. So I can go with the multiple attributes over here. So we have ID, or we can go with the class. So we have a class. So I'll say at the rate class is equals to this one. So let's copy this one, paste this one, and close this one. Now, still it says one of two elements. This means that though I have used two attributes, still this XPath is not uniquely identifying the element. So if I see any other attribute right now here, so if I go here and let me scroll down, hit this one. So this submit button. So I will say, okay, let's go with this one. So the type is basically submit, and class is basically the primary one. Copy this one and paste it over here, and we can have this ID as well. So I'll say large bracket at the rate ID is equals to submit button, and provide this value over here and close the large bracket. Now here, in order to identify this submit button, so we have used three attributes. The first attribute is type, having a value submit. Then we use a second attribute, which is class, having a value button dash primary. And then we use the third attribute, which is ID, having this submit button value. So if I summarize today's tutorial, so basically what we have done so far is basically utilize the multiple attributes without using the logical operators over here. Instead of using or and, simply what I did is that I use multiple attributes while writing the XPath. And again, if we are using double forward slash, this means that we are talking about the relative XPath. Okay, so in this way, giving a first attribute, then second attribute, third, fourth, and there's no limit to it. So at the end of the day, again, our purpose here is to identify that element uniquely. Though these elements can be located using the other concepts which we have learned, where we have parent, child, we learn about logical operators. You can use any of those concepts. There's no hard and fast rule. Our goal is to locate the element uniquely. And for today's session, our purpose was to learn that we can utilize the multiple attributes without using the logical operators, and we can uniquely identify the element by writing the XPath, where we can utilize the multiple attributes.